And we'll do some live data today. So essentially, my process in the morning, come in, having a look at the dashboard here, and just looking for anything that's kind of interesting or unique or out of place. So this morning, which was Monday, 10th of May, come in, have a look on what happened last Friday on overseas markets. One thing that kind of stood out to me was UK, the FTSE, if you look at it, fell about 65 points, then rock over to the S&P, which closed up about 60 points. So that's a kind of interesting divergence to me. So in terms of my thought process, then I go into the data lab and I'm thinking, okay, well, that's interesting. I wonder what's happened when this structure has kind of been present in the past. So I ask, filter me when S&P prior day is greater than, let's say, 30, and the FTSE prior day is less than negative 30. Okay, so that's the structure that we're looking at. S&P rallied, FTSE fell prior day. So you can obviously go through, what the Aussie 200 did, what the S&P, the S&P did next day. But one thing I'm kind of interested in is, okay, where did the FTSE finish the next day in that first session close? So 9 p.m. Australian time. What was the FTSE price at that point in time? So you can see here the distribution historically. I'm going to guess that it's higher on average. What's the average of the first session close? Which kind of makes sense, right? Because UK obviously closes, so 45 points mean. UK obviously closes before the S&P. So in this case, the UK is closed, S&P's rallied into 7 a.m. on Saturday. You would expect that the UK futures follow it, and therefore the FTSE, when it opens and closes that first session the next day, would generally be higher. Okay. So what I'm going to do, that's a distribution of likely outcomes, given that setup is in play for today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go on the playground. I'm going to open up the Edge overlay here. I'm going to drop that distribution in here. I'm going to go to the live price, which is loading. So you can see at the moment it's up 25 points, okay, which is pretty much, what do we say? It's all here, but the mean 45 points. So it's still kind of on the low side in terms of what's happened historically. EV up 20 points, signals neutral at the moment, okay? So probably not super compelling now at 4:40 p.m. However, comment that I'll make and where this becomes really useful is, you can see this is the anchor price here, okay? This is where the FTSE closed on Friday night. We obviously gapped down this morning. Now we've tagged that anchor price 3 times there, okay? So that essentially is saying that's 0 points change compared to where the FTSE closed on Friday. So if you believe that this is the likely distribution, this is a distribution that's held in the past when we've had that kind of setup. FTSE closed lower, S&P rallied higher, okay? We'll do a manual what if here, where if we take it back to those 3 times today that you could have got in at exactly where it closed on Friday, so 10 to 30, and run that through the EV model here, you can see that the expected value, if you bought at that price, given that distribution that you dropped in, is 45 points, okay? Buy signal, etc., etc. So obviously the great thing about this, and you can set your alert here, so you can kind of go away and say, look, notify me if it's in the bottom 15% of outcomes, as an example, and you'll get an alert through Mosaic, which is pretty cool. But obviously you can see the live here. So it'll keep tracking this, and then it'll notify you if it meets your criteria. So for me, you can see today I tagged the bottom there a couple of times, because essentially what I'm saying is anything at this price or lower, it's just a ridiculous long opportunity based on the historical distribution there. You know, you can probably go a little bit deeper if you want. Back in here, I mean, that's the closes we were looking at. If you look at the highs, I mean, I'm not going to ask for the average there, but it's probably 50 odd points would be the average to high. So again, that's not talking about the close. That's saying at some point through that 4 hours, it will reach on average, 50 points to high. So we're expecting it to kind of reach this point at some point through that first session. So I hope that was valuable. It's a really cool tool. Have a go with it, and let me know if you got any comments.